Hi, this video will be discussing work permit refusals. If you've received an approved LMIA, I'm sure your employer and yourself got all excited. Keep in mind that a work permit application in support of an LMIA has two stages. 50%, or the first stage, is all about the employer, and then the other 50% is all about you, the applicant. Just by getting a LMIA approved does not mean that you're definitely going to get the work permit approved. In fact, in my opinion, the work permit side is actually more difficult. Why? Because we have to demonstrate that you're going to exit the country after your employment. And so that's kind of hard to do when your employer is saying, I'm applying for permanent residency for you after. It's also kind of hard if the employment is for 2, 3, 4 years, for example. What kind of ties will you maintain in your home country when you're in this country? So that's a tricky one. You have an obligation to show to the officer a couple of things. One is that you truly do qualify for this position, that you're the best candidate for this job. So your resume, your reference letters, any proof of work that you've done that reflects that you qualify for what the LMIA was approved is essential to the application. The other things that you have to look at is you still have to demonstrate that in case you have to exit, whether your PR doesn't get approved or your employer, for example, fires you because that's still in their right, you do know that this is a temporary work permit. That in the end, if something goes wrong in Canada, you can and will exit. So even though you don't have to show significant ties, you should show some ties. Whether that's maybe a car payment that you're going to maintain, whether that's family that you have back home, maybe you're going to maintain a business or property or a bank account, whatever it is, you should maintain it, or at least show to the officer that you have this. Let's assume that you have nothing, that you're going to close all your ties because it's unreasonable to continue to pay for several years when you're not in the country. What do you do then? Emphasize in your letter to the officer that this is in support of a PR application. If it's not in support of a PR application, if the LMIA is not in support of the PR, you should provide some ties to the home country. The only time where the officer doesn't focus on this is if the LMIA is truly in support of the PR. Other than that, you should have something, even if that something is friends or family. Let's assume you have absolutely nothing. You don't have friends, you don't have family, you don't have property, you have nothing. The last option you're left with is, what are you going to do after the 2 or 3 years of work in Canada? Try to show to the officer that you become more employable back home, right? So you need this experience so that you can take it back home, because then your employment prospects increase. You have to somehow strategically connect it to back home. I hope this video is useful for you. If you have any questions about work permits in support of the LMIA, please give us a call today. Thank you, and until next time.